Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to have you join us again for our online town hall. This probably will be our last one for this academic year, and I hope that these town halls have been useful as we share information with the campus and sort of engage with you as issues have come up. And what a strange and incredible year it's been in so many ways. And it's been even probably even a more active and busy semester, given all of the final projects, senior projects, performances, athletic events. There's been just so much. Almost every night there's something going on, and it's nice to see that we're also kind of keeping infections manageable and low for COVID. We're starting to see real positive gains on people getting the vaccine. And so everybody's very kind of hopeful that we're sort of emerging through this in a successful way. I wanted to start out with some terrific news that you may have seen on social media. But again, Snow College continues to garner some incredible and deserving, I think, recognition from the state and from around the country. And the most recent is Snow College received 5 gold medals from the Best of State organization. And we are just very proud of those that were honored. The first gold medal we received was the best curriculum in the state, dedicated around our general education curriculum. And for the state to sort of recognize that is very, very gratifying. I hope, especially for our general education faculty who work so hard in making that a high impact learning practice and transformative. The second gold medal was the advisor of the year in Barb Delane. So if you get a chance to see Barb, will you congratulate her on her Best of State gold medal for this? We also received the Professor of the Year, Jay Olson, in terms of his work. Anybody who knows Jay won't be surprised at this recognition. And if you get a chance to reach out to Jay, congratulate him. And then finally, we had the Administrator of the Year, the Best Administrator of the state in Stacy McKiff, which we'll hear from more in just a bit. But Stacy was recognized primarily around her work last year for the Learn and Work project that that Snow College, I think, in a very successful way pulled off and served hundreds of students and made a difference to them as they were unemployed or underemployed. And so anyway, congratulations to you all. Snow College is just it continues to be an incredible place that punches above its weight, and it's an amazing thing to be a part of this organization. We want to remind you about commencement. We have the commencement in Richfield on May 6th. And the Ephraim commencement on May 7th. And so we hope that those of you who can join us will. The May 6th event will be at the Sevier Valley Center, and the May 7th event will be here on campus at the football field. So we're here to finish strong. We just have a few more weeks, really just a couple more weeks before we're getting through this, and we hope that you're seeing the end of you see the light at the end of the tunnel as we kind of round the corner to summer. I'd also like to sort of announce, as you maybe have heard, that there's quite a bit of federal stimulus money that has come to higher education, and we will benefit from that as an institution as well. The majority of those resources are really intended to help students, as they should, right? These resources that are coming to the campus are ways in which we can provide incentives and lower barriers for students as they kind of navigate through the the COVID post-COVID. But how do we keep students also maintaining their progress along their academic path? And so I'd like to turn the time over to Terry Clausen, who is going to announce a campaign that we really think is going to be terrific for our students. We're calling it, it's sort of in the preliminary stages of our marketing message, but something to the effect of 14 credits for free. And I'll have Terry sort of explain what we mean by that.
Yeah, thanks. Doesn't that sound exciting? 14 credits for free. I have to give Carson some kudos because he's good at math and maybe I'm not. But yeah, we're really excited. We were very lucky in the fact that we received so much funding from the federal government in terms of what's called HEERF, or sometimes we refer to it as CARES funding. We're in our third round, and each round had some student funds that were available. The restrictions are very different in this third round than in the first rounds, and so we are going to be using our student portion of our HEERF funding to give students up to 14 credits for free. Now that may sound like, wow, Snow College is being so generous, but I do want to let you know that it comes with a couple of strings. So what we're requiring our students to do is pay for the first 6 credits. With that, they've got a little bit of skin in the game. It's a great entry point for them. They can pay with that via scholarship, maybe they have Pell Grant, whatever that may be. The portion that Snow College will do is that portion from 6 credits up to 10, and we'll pay for those credits. And as you know, once you hit 10, you then have that flat tuition rate up to 20 credits. So in essence, if you pay for 6 credits, if you're a very motivated student, you can earn up to 14 credits on Snow College. The reason that we're doing this is, first and foremost, we care about our students. This is for both incoming and returning students. I want to make that very, very clear. This is not just for new students that are coming in, but it's also for our returning students. We're still in the stages of working out how this is going to happen on the back end, what our marketing plans are going to be. We should have some things coming out. I know our marketing department did some videos yesterday with some students reacting to the news, and I hear that those particular students were quite excited that we care so much that we want them to be successful. So I'm really thrilled with this. There's still a lot that we're working out on the back end, so I can't answer specifics about this, but we should within the next week be able to give you all of the requirements and all the ins and outs of this particular funding.
So Terry, this also is not just for in-state students. This is also for non-residents and international students. And is that right? And we have a question about, do they have to apply for financial aid to be eligible? In other words, do they need to fill out the Pell Grant? If they're Americans, of course, they would have to be. But what's your answer there?
So we are asking students to fill out the FAFSA, regardless, as long as they're eligible to fill out the FAFSA. With our first round of funds, we weren't allowed to give those to international students, and we know international students can't fill out the FAFSA. They're not legally eligible to do so, and they will be considered in this round of funds. We do want as many students as possible to fill out the FAFSA, but we do also have funds available for those international students. So as I like to put it, it's available to all students, all in caps, so that you know that regardless, there's going to be funds for students.
So Terry and her team are working very hard. We are still, though, slightly down on applications, about 9% as of today or yesterday in terms of applications. But Terry's team has been very successful in converting those applications into enrollments, which we call yield. So do you want to say a word or two about, Terry, this notion of yield and where you think we'll be for fall?
Yeah, so much like others in the state, we have not seen the number of applications that we have in years past, and that's likely due to the pandemic. However, our team has done a fantastic job at getting those students from that application stage to actually enrolled and registered for classes. We are ahead about, I want to say, 1 or 2% over where we were this time last year, which is pretty fantastic. But it's going to be imperative that we all work really, really hard, not just my office, but everyone, to get those students to stick. We don't want them melting away during the summer heat. We want them to stick and actually show up in the fall. And that's going to be the work that we have to do so that we can be ahead this fall and buck the trend.
Terry, we did get another question on the on the 14 for free, and the question is, will waivers be granted to cover the 6 credits?
Yeah, so if you have a scholarship or if you had federal Pell Grants, you have loans, however you want to pay for those 6 credits, that's on you. And then we'll cover the rest. And so if you do have an academic scholarship that pays up to that amount, yes, that can cover that.
Great. Well, thank you. We also have some terrific news to announce in that the institution has made a decision about the vice president for technical education and workforce engagement. And we're very pleased to announce that Stacy McKiff has accepted the permanent position as vice president for technical education and workforce engagement. And I couldn't think of I'm really honestly when we've searched this a year ago. We had asked her to step into this role as an interim until we could really, find the fit. And in the process, Stacy has just been terrific in this role. I think she's built a lot of trust among those that she's working with. She is a very hard worker, incredibly smart, and very quick study, and has apprehended really the opportunities that Snow College has in this regard. And let me just remind the campus that, as you know, about 18 months ago, the 2 systems, the technical education system and the degree granting institutions, merged. So there's now just one board, and there's a lot of conversation and a lot of priorities relative to a whole gamut of offerings for Utahns, everything from the short-term technical education piece to PhDs. And we have an opportunity, I think, at Snow College to really make a difference economically. I'm going to turn the time over in a minute to Stacy, but I also wanted to sort of also remind us of 3 different documents that help underscore the reason we want to expand technical education. First, I want to read you our Snow College vision statement, which leads to then our strategic plan, which then also leads to the Board of Regents charter to Snow College when I first became president. But the vision statement says this for Snow College: Snow College aspires to be a national leader in providing accessible, affordable, high quality, and flexible education for rural and other underserved populations. Our competitive advantage will be personalized, high-touch experience that we provide for all students. The inaugural charge that was given to me in 2019 has also set the tone for our strategic planning process. And I won't read all of that other than to maybe one paragraph, which the charge from the board essentially said that whatever plan moving forward must account for at least 4 things. One is that the path must chart a path for ongoing success for Snow College. 2, that it keep an inexorable focus on student access and completion. 3rd, that Snow College needs to be a force for economic development. and fourth, to contribute to the system's success overall. But I want to just read this one paragraph that sets it up as it relates to technical education. So the charge says, so college is unique among all our public institutions. Here sits a comprehensive community college in the beating heart of rural Utah. But Snow College not only educates its students, it is the unifying identity of the community, the center for cultural encounters, and this cannot be overstated, the economic gravity for Central Utah. So look for openings to enhance that role. Partner with local leaders, businesses, and K-12 to cultivate new economic growth. Continue to strengthen and broaden offerings at the Richfield campus, particularly career and technical training. Identify skill gaps and workforce needs in your region and create academic and technical programs that will fill those needs. Always remember the responsibility you bear to the community's economic potential. And then just finally, just a reminder that our strategic plan, that it has essentially 5 themes: student success, academics, recruitment and retention, employees, and infrastructure. And as it relates to the academic piece, there's a very specific goal, goal number 4 under academics, that says this, and that is goal number 4 is to leverage career, technical education, and technical education funding and infrastructure. In other words, one of the KPIs, one of the things that we're going to measure over time here is to convert select technical education programs to a competency-based format. That's number 1. Number 2, increase student enrollment in technical education programs by 5%. KPI 3, increase completion rates for technical education programs students by 65%. 4, increase technical education certificates of proficiency 5%. And lastly, KPI 5, establish an apprenticeship or internship program for technical education students by fiscal year 2022. So I really would love to spend just a little bit of time today with you to help you understand that that's the larger context as to why we're doing this. The good news, of course, is that with technical education, there's also another funding stream. So we're able to do this funding, to actually do technical education without having to compete with our other academic missions. So with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Stacy. Congratulations, Stacy, on the new role. It's not new to you at all. You've been doing this for almost a year and have put a lot of effort and really have helped us come so far. So Stacy, you want to talk to us a little bit about technical education for Snow College?
Thanks so much, President. I'm excited to continue on and move technical education forward. I've got a few slides I'd like to show to everyone to kind of re-examine what technical education is, and then to President's point, finding these unique ways that Snow College can leverage technical education. So are we ready to see the slides? I don't know if you all can see them or not.
We can.
Yeah, okay. All right. So first of all, if I could just explain, technical education focuses on knowledge and skill acquisition aligned with industry need. And I have a picture here of what we might think of as traditional technical education. But as I talk today and as you're thinking, especially in the academic disciplines, we can consider ways that technical education can be spread throughout the entire campus. But the point is to align knowledge and skill acquisition with industry need. And we were in a meeting a few months ago, and I mean, I've been trying to get my mind around this whole concept too, like a lot of us. I think everybody may be on campus trying to get their mind around it. And I heard someone from the commissioner's office say, Snow College is the technical college for Central Utah. And that was a real light bulb for me. And it made me just think about how important this is, and that the state is relying on us to provide this kind of training for our service region. So as we move in, one of the reasons why we're doing this today is we need your help in getting the word out about the programs that are coming online for fall semester with the reduced tuition rate. And I'll talk about a lot of those characteristics of what is TE in a few minutes. But I'm just showing you here a list of all of the programs that for 21-22 will be converting to technical education tuition levels. And those tuition levels are significantly lower than regular tuition. And the good news is, and I'll get to this in a minute, that a person can really easily start out by participating in one of these certificate programs and then really easily keep on going to an AS or an AAS or an AA and continue their academic journey. As we look ahead over the next couple of years, we're moving these courses from year 1 over this fall. And then year 2, this is kind of the plan to move the ag and the business TE programs over to the new tuition model. But this is just something we were thinking of initially with programs we already have. And so a lot of you out there can probably think of some programs in your areas that we could easily convert, again, related to industry and economic need. So just looking ahead, and by the way, the reason why we can charge a lower tuition rate is because the state is subsidizing TE tuition at a higher level, like they do with the other technical colleges. I borrowed this graphic from a presentation done by the Commissioner's Office, and it just kind of shows you here how we can leverage a tech ed certificate into going even further and helping a student reach their educational goals. And so we are on the certificate side, we're on the associate degree side, and we also have our bachelor's degrees here. And so it's an exciting opportunity for us to be inclusive to groups who have been underserved over time in the region. So these are some advantages. And again, I'm telling you this in part. I think some of you already know all of this, but I'm also trying to help recruit you to spread the word to your family and friends and others with whom you associate to get this word out and spread the opportunities around the community. The real advantages here are college credit for every class and the fact that we can articulate with ourselves. And so that makes Snow College unique in the USHE system. Salt Lake Community College is doing that to some extent, USU Eastern also. But as far as the institution comprehensively accepting and integrating technical education, we're quite unique in the USHE system. These other items are the same with other technical colleges: the lower tuition rate, financial aid eligible, short-term certificate training, and then aligned with workforce need. But keep in mind that those two unique qualities are very important. The other tech colleges are not awarding credit for tech ed programs right now, and we're able to do that straight out of the gate. And I mentioned this already, but we are now in a better position to respond to some underserved populations in the region. And President has presented this information to legislators and regents. And I thought it was important to share here too, that we're looking at traditional students. And I think we've said before in other town hall meetings, we have some superintendents in the region who are reporting back to us that up to 70% of high school seniors do not see themselves as college-going students, and they're not planning to continue on after high school. And I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty disturbing trend. And so we're thinking that some of these programs may seem more accessible to some people. And you know, our ag business program has done such a great job with this. We get somebody started and they find out that college is actually for them, and they get confidence, and then they have that confidence to keep on going. So in addition to the traditional students, we also have this non-traditional student group, and Utah has this enormous percentage of people who started college but didn't finish. So some college, no degree. And the legislature is very focused on professionals who need upskilling and reskilling. And so these technical programs can serve maybe a group of people who have not been served in the past, especially in the region. And so I just have this diagram here of technical education and academic education and how they can work together. On the tech ed side, it's typically short term, maybe even one semester, and we're working on that in some of the programs. We also have on the tech ed side certificates, industry certifications. These are industry driven and can be delivered in all three of the formats you see there, face-to-face, online, and CBE. And some possibilities of flexible scheduling. In fact, we've got 2 programs that we're trying to convert over next year to a more competency-based model where students can have flexible scheduling. You know, maybe they come for 3 hours in the morning and then they work at their own pace. So people who are already skilled in these areas can get through the program quickly, and people who are maybe starting from ground zero, it might take them a little longer, but that's okay. It's very individualized. By the way, we're hiring an instructional designer to help us with this, putting the curriculum together, because none of us are experts in that area yet. On the academic side, we have the AAS degree, AA and AS. And so more general education where people are transfer ready, and again, having those other formats, but we've got the same formats in both TE and on the non-TE side. And what's again key is these articulation crosswalks that we can make with each other from the tech ed side over to the degree side. I'm going to turn the time over to Josh for just a minute because we're launching a marketing campaign this week. And so this will, I hope, look familiar to you as you get on social media, this big news. And I'm just gonna, I hope that this works, that you'll be able to see my screen. President, can you see this, the website?
Yep.
So I'm in my browser window now, and I should be on the website for snow.edu/TE or tech ed, I guess.
Not yet, no.
Okay, so maybe I'm not going to be able to see that. You can go there yourself, and you can see that we have a website available that shows all of the programs, and then there is a link for scholarships. And we received scholarship money from the state this year for technical education programs exclusively. And so all of the TE programs will be awarding some pretty generous scholarships this year. And the GPA requirement for those scholarships is a 2.3. So again, if you know people who you think would be interested in these programs, we're here to make this happen for them. And I'm going to turn the time over to Josh, and he's going to talk a little bit more about, a little bit more about the marketing opportunities that we can all participate in.
All right, great. Well, I'm sharing my screen now. Can you guys see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. All right, so first off, like Stacy said, we really need your help to help us get the message out. And so one thing I like to say is that marketing is really everyone's job. And when I say that, I'm not trying to, advocate or abdicate our position and our role in getting the college's message out, but there's a few things going on kind of in the marketing world that I think are really important. First off, advertising really is dying, and so think about the last time you really sat down and listened through an ad. We stream, we do all kinds of things that are really are kind of killing advertising. Some other things that are going on, and this has probably always been true, but it's especially true now, is that people trust people, not organizations. So anything we put out on kind of under the college banner will only have so much credibility, but something that you put out on your own really ends up having a lot more credibility. And the last thing, again, this isn't something that's always been true, but something that's becoming more important than ever, is that people love stories. And so what does all of that mean as far as how you can help us get the message out? First off, really maybe take a little bit of time to really kind of understand our message here, which, as Stacy pointed out, is big news, and really that we're making a big investment in technical education and the students who need technical education. Beyond that, some things that everyone can do to really help us out. First off, as far as helping us get the message out on the content that the college is putting together. I've said this before, but if you haven't already, follow us on the social platforms that you use most. Second, share the content we post. Really just any share helps us. But more importantly, when you share the stuff that we post, add your own thoughts and make it personalized. Like I said, people will only trust Snow College to a certain extent, but the people who follow you on social media, your friends and connections, they do trust you. So if you just share what we put out, that helps, but only goes so far. But when you share what we put out and you say, and here's why I'm really excited about it, or here's kind of how I'm connected with this, or here's a story of a student that is really helped by this thing. That gives it a lot more power and really helps get the message across. Secondly, consider putting together some of your own content. So some things you can do: talk about why you're excited about the college announcements. Take this big news on technical education and talk about why you're excited about it. As you go through the semester and as you're helping students, share cool stories, photos, videos, etc. Again, anytime we share cool stories, again, like I said, it only goes so far. But when you share that, it has a lot more credibility. And lastly, think about if you can provide kind of a backstage pass, if you will, as we talk about the programs and the things we're doing at the college, if you have a story to share about, how you're prepping for a class, or, something you're doing behind the scenes to get ready for the semester, those kind of things, those kind of things get a lot of engagement and really, again, help us get the message across. So really, to sum all that up, like I said, we really do need your help. We're going to do our best to go out and advertise and do everything we can through a lot of your traditional marketing channels. But those things are only going to go so far. But anything you can do to help us share and get the message across is really going to help us in a lot of ways. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Stacy. So here we go. I'll stop sharing.
And maybe right here, thanks, Josh. Maybe right here, Melanie or Terry, if either of you would like to chime in and kind of talk about how this is not just a little corner of campus working on technical education. I can tell you that every corner of campus has been working on technical education and trying to figure out a way to make this happen in the best possible way for our students. And so, Melanie, maybe do you want to talk about the academic piece a little bit?
Sure, I would love to. So Stacy and I meet regularly with each other, but also with our academic leaders on campus to talk about ways that we can integrate technical education into our academic structure. And we're at an advantage, like Stacy said, because we've been doing this for 20 years. We already know what credit looks like from a a seat-based model. We know how to translate it into credit. We know how to transfer it on. We know how to build stackable credentials. And so we really are just looking at every academic program that we currently have and looking for options to pull out some technical education, stack it to a degree, an academic degree, and give students more options. And I think one of the things that we're most excited about as an institution, we really have been trying to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is an access issue for so many of our students. This really does provide opportunities at a much more affordable price. It allows us to target students who may not have been thinking about coming for an academic degree. And once they're here, we may be able to help them see a vision of a degree and what that might mean in terms of their lives and how it can transform their lives. So we're really excited about how we can share. We're talking about this in Deans, we're talking about it in curriculum committee, our department chairs are involved, and we're just trying to look and create more options for students. Now, lest you think that TE has taken over the institution, let me assure you also that all of those conversations are about how we sustain what we already do, how we build and strengthen that, and how we provide opportunities for students wherever they may be and wherever they may be trying to go. So we have a lot on our plate, a lot's going on from an academic perspective and the way that we're trying to build in technical education. So
thanks, Melanie. And these are just great opportunities to get people started and then help them continue on in their pathway. And so I'm glad that you said that. TE is not taking over the institution. TE is an additional, supplemental, positive method that we can use to serve more students and help the local economy too. Terry, your area has taken quite a heavy lift on this transition from advising to admissions, etc. Would you like to maybe address that for a few minutes?
Well, the only thing that I will say is that this is a really exciting initiative, like Melanie said, that opens up the aperture really to allow more students the opportunity to have a Snow College education. There is a lot of work that has to be done on the back end to have it be successful on the front end and to be delivered to students. And I just have to give a big shout out to all of the people who have been working tireless behind the scenes on banner screens and different curriculum, different ways of looking at the application and advising in a completely different way to help these students be successful. This is really going to set us apart. And, you know, I always have my enrollment hat on and look at this as a way for us to increase access to Snow College education.
Thanks so much, Terry. So I'm just going to continue on. It looks like I missed something before. Am I back on the slideshow? I'm not sure. I can't see that, but I'd like to go back to the slideshow. I forgot one of the programs on the list of programs converting for fall semester. We also have automotive technology. And that's a really good reminder to me too, that the faculty in these programs, it's been really stressful for some. It's been a pretty big move and we've asked them to do a lot this year. And it's been my privilege and pleasure to work with everyone on this, and special recognition to LaFawn Barnhurst, our outgoing BAT dean, who has poured over many R401s and syllabi, as well as Cozy Roberts, who's our curriculum committee rep in BAT, and all the faculty. Again, it's been a pleasure, and we're going to keep on going. All right, so that leads us into the last segment of my piece, which is Learn and Work 2.0. If you're a faculty member, you've received some emails from me over the last couple of weeks that these applications are now open again. And so these are just the goals of Learn and Work 2.0. You can read through those or look at my email, but basically we're just trying to find ways to help people get back to work, to upskill and have a more stable employment opportunity. So the deadlines for the Learn and Work application, our internal deadline is Monday, and I know it's the worst possible timing with finals week, but that's kind of where we are. So if you could get your internal application submitted by May 3rd, Monday, then we'll go through an internal selection process and submit our institution's proposals to USHE and GoEd by May 14th, and then we'll hear about the funding awards by June 1st. And so I've only sent this out to faculty. If there are staff members who have ideas of training, we have so many talented people here, feel free to submit an application. The funding this time is $15 million. It was $9 million last time, and so we hope that we get a good amount again this year. But it only happened because everybody was so great and working extra hard and jumping into the unknown with Learn and Work. And hopefully we're a little more knowledgeable this time, but I know it's still a lot of work, and we appreciate everybody who contributes in this way. All right. Thank you so much, President. I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Stacy, and thanks for everybody that's been involved in this. And this really is an initiative that spans both campuses and really encompasses multiple divisions. So this just isn't something out of Richfield. This really is a Snow College initiative, and really without our faculty and staff kind of leaning in on this, which they have, it just wouldn't have happened and won't happen without their support, without your support. So thank you very much. Listen, we want to make sure that that you feel free to ask questions. We've been asked, there's been some questions that have been coming through, and we've been answering them over text. But listen, as questions come in relative to anything that might be on your mind, as we kind of wind down the academic year. I do want to actually bring Carson Howell into the conversation. The campus has just completed the search for the Chief Information Officer. And so Carson, do you want to sort of make that announcement, please?
Sure, thank you, President. Yes, we did complete that CIO search, and we have named Dr. Bill Schutz as the new Chief Information Officer. He is currently serving as the CIO at Lane Community College in Eugene, Oregon, and has a lengthy career in information technology. We're excited to have him join us. He'll be joining us later on in the summer, probably mid-June, around that time frame. He's excited to come here, and in fact, as the committee met with him, one of the things that he pointed out was just how warm and welcoming the campus was, and that he recognized that spirit of Snow that we talk about, and he really wanted to be a part of that. So we're excited to have him join us here later on this summer, and he's familiar with a lot of the systems that we run here at the college, and so he's got a lot of great ideas, and so we're excited to have him join the team.
Thanks to the search committee. This was a tough search. We had some really great candidates, and thanks for that help. Listen, let's turn the time over to Rob Nielsen, who has a lot of hats, but maybe a quick update on COVID, where we're winding down, and then a word or two about our athletic program. As you might know, our volleyball team is second in the nation. This team went further than any other in the history of Snow College. We also have softball, soccer. We also have football, and football, I think, could be a very special year for football, ranked number 3 in the nation at the moment. But before we get into athletics, let's go back to COVID, and any news there you want to share, Rob?
Thanks, President. I think it's been a great a year for us to get through COVID as well as we did, and as we get to May later on this week, we made it to May, which was our goal as we started this whole thing. So congratulations to everybody that's worked so hard to mask and do all of the things we needed to do to overcome COVID. We've reduced our testing to a couple of days a week. Richfield campus is by appointment only, as our tests have really gone down the last few weeks with more people getting vaccinated. We're having vaccination clinics here on campus again next week. So if you're choosing to get vaccinated, that's available for just about anybody. And so as we get ready for graduation and kind of our final hurrah there, I think we've done an excellent job in combating COVID and being successful in staying face to face and working together to get through this whole thing. So congratulations to everybody on the work, and especially a shout out to the COVID care team. They're still delivering meals. They're still working with those who do have COVID, and we're still dealing with it. But the COVID care team has done a magnificent job and spent many hours and lots of time to help people get through this. So the CDC has come out with guidelines. If you've been vaccinated, they're saying now that you won't need to mask up when you're outside, and so things are loosening up as you get vaccinated and more options there. So we'll continue to monitor what the CDC and the state does as far as what they recommend for us to do for the next couple of weeks. And then as we get into summer school, we'll probably set up the new guidelines of what the state wants us to do and look to get ready for fall. So it's kind of the COVID update. President gave a very good starter for athletics. It's been a very good year. Our team's been very successful. They've been testing weekly, and so there's been a lot of tests for athletes to, and other people that are doing performances have been tested on a very regular basis. We haven't had to really cancel very many events or games. Some places are canceling their seasons. The college has been able to have events, and people were masked up, and we had good attendance at many of those events. Our football games are going on now. Soccer and softball are both going on. We'll have their championships in May, so they'll continue to be here after the school ends. And with the national championship game, which we're trying to get to with football, the top 2 teams will be invited to that game, and that will be June 3rd. So we're hoping to move up one more spot in the polls at least, and be one of the top 2 teams, have a chance to play for the national championship. Our women's volleyball team did go play for the national championship. They went through the tournament and did a great job in representing the college, and then lost in the championship game 3-1, but had a wonderful year, and we'll have some very strong All-American recognitions that will be announced shortly by the NJCAA for at least one of our players. So some neat things are happening for our students, and they battled but made it through. It's been a tough year with the trainers and everybody else that's doing the support, but looks like we're going to make it through this season.
We do have a question from the audience about, will we incentivize students to get vaccinated?
Not at this time. We're looking at different options, but this time we haven't discussed any incentives to do that. We'll probably watch what happens over the course of the summer with some schools who are mandating vaccinations to return to campus. Others are saying they're not going to do anything. So we'll have to monitor that and kind of see what best practices look like and how we want to do that. But at this time, there's been no decision made either way about requiring or incentivizing vaccinations.
Okay. Rob, thanks to you and your team. Really appreciate everything you're doing. I'd like to turn the time over to Melanie Jenkins to just give us a sense of the academic, kind of the academic agenda for the campus as we move into summer and looking into fall. We do have a faculty assessment day on May 13th. You may want to just mention that. Melanie, do you want to just give a quick update on academics?
I would love to. So, right, we have assessment day on May 13th, and we're asking departments to gather together and accumulate and talk about and share data and make decisions about what we need to do with our courses to strengthen them and to prioritize student success in those courses as we're moving forward. We do have lots of things on the agenda right now. We're in the process of hiring 15 new faculty members, so we're keeping HR busy. We're keeping all of our committees busy with this interview process. We're excited about that and that we were able to move those positions forward. For summer school, we're looking at almost exclusively online options this year. That was, of course, a decision made early on as we were thinking about how to manage COVID. We had great success with that last year, so we thought we would try it again this year, and we're seeing even better success this year. Our numbers are up, so we're pleased with that. And for fall, we're planning ahead a very traditional fall semester, knock on wood. Hopefully that's what we get. We're talking about some strategies that we might need to employ this fall to help with student success, particularly given a student population, an entering student population that has had a very atypical senior year and part of a junior year. And so they may need some additional supports, and we're trying to plan for that and prepare for that. Other than that, we are just gonna take a deep breath and make it through finals. So.
Thanks, Melanie. Appreciate the faculty and the chairs, the deans, everybody that has that have really come together to make this possible for our students. I appreciate that. So, if there are any questions of Melanie, please write those in, and we'll come back to her. I'd like to give maybe a moment to Dr. Diane Johnson to give us a quick update on some of our online agenda. Diane, do you mind just giving us a quick update on where we are on both our traditional Snow Online as well as our accelerated online?
Yes, I'm happy to. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah,
yep.
Good.
Loud and clear.
So it's been really fun to listen to Stacy and to Melanie talk about the great things that are happening at Snow and the wonderful opportunities we have. So and adding to that, I get to help focus on how do we take these fantastic programs on both sides and make them, again, more accessible to people who are bound by geography or they can't leave their jobs. And so I have really appreciated the opportunity to work with faculty. We're working with Snow Online, and we're working to look at data, to look at what the courses are doing now, how can we improve them, and then transitioning to the competency-based model, which again allows more flexibility for learners to come in and move at a pace that fits within their life. So it adds, again, that access of flexibility that's so important. And then, working with Stacy to look at the tech ed programs that we can make online as well. There's such a fantastic, well, Carson, you talked about it with our new CIO, that the spirit of Snow is so, it's really perceptible. I found that as well when I came. And I think to be able to take that spirit of Snow and the opportunities provided by our programs and expand that beyond the physical campuses is really a tremendous opportunity for us and position. So I'm excited to work with faculty this summer on a pilot to take 10 or 11 courses and actually convert them to the competency-based model. So we'll be doing that. I'm really excited to do that early on so that they're ready to offer in the fall. And then with the AOL program, I'm working closely with them to help refine the courses that we have, bring them into alignment with the standards that we really all feel comfortable with, so that anything that's offered in AOL is really comparable to what we have on campus, and that we have faculty feeling like they're really familiar with what's happening, the quality is there, they're comfortable with what's happening. So we're working on both the academic, working out the kinks. Anytime you're trying to initiate a new program that quickly, it's bound to be a little messy, bumps in the road, and what we did was actually quite incredible. And so I am working with them and with folks on our side to refine and to build processes also that we can feel good about, they can feel good about. AOL has really quite an amazing marketing channel, and we've seen some really interesting opportunities, particularly in Colorado, with this early college model, and a lot of learners who are looking for a different way to do things, and we're a great option for them. So it's really an exciting time, I think, in the history of Snow, with the things that with the funding and the opportunities that Stacy talked about, and then to be able to take the wonderful things that have happened at Snow academically on that side, and then again increase the accessibility by using technology to facilitate expanding the Spirit of Snow well beyond our geographical region. So that's what's going on there.
Diane, talk to us a little bit about the student support mechanisms we're contemplating. So as we expand more online, there is a concern that we all have about how do we support students in their success with tutoring and advising and testing, that sort of thing. How do we preserve the integrity there?
Sure. Which is, I'm glad that you brought that up, because you just named all of the things that are so important. So as part of our effort to ensure that any student that goes to school online with Snow is having the same level of quality experience, rigorous experience that they would have if they were on campus, we have to put in some additional supports that you would typically find in a physical campus, but we have to be able to put that in a virtual space. So one of the things that we're looking at, Salt Lake Community College is doing this. There are a number of other places that are doing this. They're using services like tutor.com, which has been around for more than 20 years. And they have actually quite a rigorous program in how they select, background check, and train folks who are going to be tutoring students. Students can have access to tutors 24/7. They also have student support services, more like you would find in, advising where students are struggling with some of the life challenges, or, they're just the things that get in the way of the academics, and they happen to everyone. And so they have really quite this robust service offering that that students can access 24/7. We're looking at some other opportunities as well, making sure that we find the right fit for an organization, for our organization in an organization like that. We're also looking at expanding through the use of online proctors to help us ensure that any student who's going to school with us online, one, that we can verify their identity when they're taking exams. So we know that the person who should be taking the test is actually taking the test, that we can proctor those exams anywhere, anytime, and make sure that we have the same level of supervision and oversight over our exams in virtual space as we do on campus. And then we also need to look at not only just in like multiple choice, what are called objective assessments, where it's a timed setting and students are just answering questions. We lock down their monitors, we can control that environment. But we're also looking at the kinds of tools that you use to detect plagiarism, ghostwriting, some of those other tricks that students use to get out of doing their own work, if you will. And unfortunately, the academic cheating industry is alive and well. And thankfully, we know how to manage those kind of things and what to look for. You can even go so far as employing what are called web crawlers and spiders that are out monitoring your test items all the time, and then they send back reports about that. So we're really working on supporting students individually as learners, as people, and then also protecting the integrity of our program. So we build the quality and can ensure the quality of the programs we're delivering online, and then we need to protect them as well to again ensure that students are actually learning, that they're gaining competence. This is particularly important if we're moving where we're offering some CBE, because in a CBE program, you are awarding credit based on demonstration of learning on assessments, and so it's imperative that those assessments are, one, properly leveled and rigorous, and two, are protected and secure, and that you ensure that the person who's supposed to be taking that test is the one who's actually taking that test. So we're putting a lot of effort into ensuring that this is all as it should be, to make sure that we have quality and security around the programs that we're offering, while offering a level of flexibility and access that we haven't been able to do at large scale before.
Great. Well, thank you, Diane. Thank you to everybody that's participated today. We're at 1:30. Really, and if there are any final questions, would be happy to answer them. And again, this isn't the only venue. Hoping that you can feel comfortable communicating questions or concerns through our regular kind of avenues. Again, we're open again for any suggestions or proposals how we can get make sure that we're getting good information to the campus. So again, thank you very much. Wish you all the very best as we push through the tape to the end of the year. It's been an extraordinary year, and really looking forward to really to ending strongly at commencement. Hope you're able to attend or participate in some way. This is a big deal for our students, and it's a memory that I'm so happy we're able to provide for them this year, where we weren't able to last year. And I think we're the only one of two in the system that are doing face-to-face. I think Southern Utah University is doing one, and we are. Otherwise, I think they're all kind of remote and online. So thank you all for being such great colleagues and such terrific educators and supporters. And until we see you at commencement or around campus, have a terrific rest of the semester. Thank you.